Welcome back, guys, for round 27 of NRL 2023 season. This is the last round where only top 8 teams will be qualified for final weeks. Our results from last week's round 26, we have got 7 out 8. Big shout out to 3 tippers who have participated so far. Broncos vs Storms. Storm clouds are coming to Brisbane, and Broncos coach Kevin Walters is thunderstruck with excitement about the prospect. That excitement may be hard for outside observers to understand, given that the Melbourne Storm have beaten the Broncos in their last 13 encounters. The last time Brisbane beat Melbourne was a 26-16 away win in 2016. The most recent occasion the Broncos prevailed over the Storm at Brisbane's Suncorp Stadium was a 16-14 victory in 2009. The Broncos, on top of the table, host their bogey team on Thursday night at Suncorp Stadium in the final round of the NRL, when a win will wrap up their first minor premiership since 2000. They will also likely be without centre Katoni Staggs, after he was hit with a Grade 2 dangerous contact charge on Jordan Rapana in the 29-18 win over Canberra on Saturday. Also miss their 2 key play markers Joss Reynolds and Patrick Kerrigan for this round. Last year the Storm came to Suncorp and put the Cleaners through the Broncos in a 60-12 walloping. With Storms with the winning probability of 65% and Broncos with 35%, I'm still going for Broncos for this round. Eagles vs Tigers. The Sea Eagles and Wests Tigers will finish their campaigns on Friday night, but both still have plenty to play for in the final match for the respective teams in 2023. Fan favorite Jake Trbojevic will notch his 200th game for both the club and in the NRL in a major motivator for the home side, while there's still an unlikely chance the Wests Tigers can claw their way off the bottom of the ladder with a big win. It's been a disappointing season for both clubs, with some high expectation at the start of the season, but injuries and suspensions have cruelled their journeys, along with a roller coaster of inconsistent performances. Both these sides last met in April, with the Sea Eagles escaping with a 22-16 win in Campbelltown. That match had some fireworks both during and post-match, so expect this to offer similar despite where the sides are placed on the ladder. Team news. Sea Eagles. Ruben Garrick back is an outside chance of making a return, while Christian Tuipulotu knee and Cooper John's biceps could also be included. Jake Trbojevic's milestone will see him become the 18th player to play 200 games for the Sea Eagles. Wests Tigers. Alex Twal illness and Jake Simpkin head knock are chances to return for the final game of the season, but the likes of Charlie Staines hamstring and Luke Brooks calf are all finished for 2023. Stat attack. The Sea Eagles have won 6 of their past 7 matches against Wests Tigers. Daly Cherry Evans has scored 14 tries in 19 games against Wests Tigers, his best efforts against any club. Wests Tigers have won just 3 of 16 games at 4 Pines Park. Above all, I'm still tipping the Eagles to win this game. Rabbitohs vs Roosters. This age-old rivalry never needs extra motivation added to it, but it gets it this Friday as the Roosters and Rabbitohs play to keep their season alive. The 2 foundation clubs head into round 27 in a 3-way tie with the Cowboys on 30 competition points, but with contrasting points differentials that may prove crucial in the end. A win alone should be enough to see the Rabbitohs through to the finals for the 6th year in a row, thanks to a 37-point differential advantage over the Cowboys, but it's more complex for the Tricolours. A -38 differential means they need to beat the Rabbitohs and then likely rely on the Raiders and Cowboys losing to the Sharks and Panthers respectively. The Roosters are undefeated in their last 4 games, their longest winning streak of 2023, while the Rabbitohs' form had been patchy ahead of a bye in round 26, with their most recent game ending in a 29-10 defeat to the Knights. There was little in it when they met earlier this year, as the Roosters came out 20-18 winners, while the head-to-head record between them in recent times is evenly split, with 2 wins apiece in their last 4 clashes. The Rabbitohs have a 4-win, 4-loss record at Accor Stadium this season, while the Roosters will be playing at the venue for the first time this season and are winless in their past 4 visits there. Team news. Roosters. Captain James Tedesco is due back after missing round 26 with a head knock, but there'll almost certainly be a new absence in the backline after Joey Manu suffered a game-ending hamstring injury last week. While prop Jared Waerea-Hargreaves will front the judiciary on Tuesday to contest the grading of his Grade 2 dangerous contact charge, he's already entered an early guilty plea to a Grade 1 striking charge from round 26 and will miss 3 matches. Playmaker Luke Keary is free to play after accepting a fine for a dangerous throw charge. Rabbitohs. With Latrell Mitchell out suspended, Blake Taffa is set to play fullback, as he did for 7 games earlier this year while Mitchell was injured. Jed Cartwright back is on track to be available if required. Stat attack. The Roosters have got through the most defense of any team in 2023, averaging 359 tackles per game. South Sydney have made the most errors of any current top 8 side, with their 218 being one more than that latter leading Broncos. The Roosters' 150 penalties conceded this year is the most in the NRL. Dolphins vs Warriors. The Dolphins will be eager to finish their debut season with a victory in round 27, but face a finals-bound Warriors side who haven't lost in 2 months. While the Kiwi side can't move any higher than their current standing in third, a loss against the Dolphins coupled with a Storm win over the Broncos would see them drop to fourth, so they still have plenty to play for on Saturday. After holding a team to under 12 points for the first time since round 20 last Friday against the Dragons, Andrew Webster will be hoping his side have rediscovered their hard edge defensively, as they seek to secure a club record equaling 8th win in a row. It's a very different situation for the Dolphins, who haven't won since the middle of July and face ending their first season without a win in their final 7 games. While they fought hard in an eventual 34-10 loss to the Cowboys, Wayne Bennett's men put themselves under far too much pressure by making 13 errors and completing at just 63%. Those stats were off-brand for them in 2023, with the Dolphins having committed the fewest errors in the NRL through 26 rounds. Earlier this year the Warriors came away with a 30-8 win when these two sides met in Auckland, but at Suncorp Stadium the Warriors have lost their last 3 and 5 of their previous 6. Team news. Dolphins. Captain Jesse Bromwich and center Robert Jennings are outside chances to be available after withdrawing from the squad ahead of round 26. Having served his 2-match suspension, Ray Stone could come back into the frame as he works his way back from a toe injury. Warriors. Tamir Martin got through his return from a broken leg in reserve grade and will almost certainly join the NRL squad at 5/8, following a hamstring injury to Luke Metcalf last week. Captain Tohu Harris is reportedly in doubt with a back injury, while Rocco Berry is expected to be okay after suffering a knee strain last week which isn't thought to be serious. Mitch Barnett leg laceration, and Jazz Tevaga hamstring, are chances of being available, but they may be held back another week ahead of the finals. Stat attack. Jermaine Isako heads into the final round of the regular season leading the competition in both points scored, 230, and tries scored, 23. The Warriors have won 8 of 11 on the road this year, the equal second-best away record in the NRL. A win will see the Warriors register 8 wins in a row for just the second time in club history. I'm going to tip the Warriors. Panthers vs Cowboys. The Cowboys will need to conquer arguably the toughest challenge in the NRL and beat the Panthers in Penrith if they are to play finals football in 2023, while the defending premiers could go into the game still in the race for the minor premiership. While North Queensland aren't totally in control of their own destiny, it all starts with having to win on Saturday night to give themselves a chance of playing beyond the regular season. If they can beat Penrith and the Rabbitohs lose to the Roosters, then North Queensland are probably through, while they could still make it if the Rabbitohs win and Raiders lose to the Sharks. The Panthers meanwhile will know well before kickoff if they are still in the race for the minor premiership, requiring a Broncos loss to the Storm to be any chance of winning the JJ Giltinan Shield for a second straight year. Either way, Ivan Cleary's Chargers will be eager to bounce back after being upset by the Eels last week to suffer their first defeat since a Golden Point loss to the Cowboys way back in mid-June. North Queensland have one of the better recent records against the Panthers, having won both of their previous 2 meetings, but at Bluebet Stadium this season Penrith have lost just twice, while prior to last week they were undefeated there since round 1. Team news. Panthers. Dylan Edwards, Sunia Taruva, Mitch Kenny and Scott Sorensen are all expected to return after being rested in round 26, while Isaac Tago could be good to go after timeout with a leg injury. Jack Cogger is the most likely option to replace the injured Jerome Luai, shoulder, having been a regular in the side since round 14 in various roles. Cowboys. North Queensland are likely to stick with the same 17 who got the job done against the Dolphins last week, with no fresh injury concerns and their injured and suspended talent not due back until beyond round 27. Rookie Zach Laybutt impressed in the centers last up with a try-scoring double. Stat attack. The Panthers and Cowboys have the best average completion rates in the competition. Penrith lead on 83%, with North Queensland just behind on 81%. In form, Cowboys fullback Scott Drinkwater has laid on 31 line breaks this year, more than any other player. Despite sitting out last week, Panthers number 1 Dylan Edwards still boasts over 500 run meters more than the next best in the competition, with his 5,594 putting him well ahead of Aden Fanua-Blake's 4,082. I'm going to tip Cowboys to win this game. Dragons vs Knights. The Knights go in search of a 9th win on the trot and can ensure they finish in 5th place and get a home final should they get the job done against the Dragons. The turnaround has been remarkable for Adam O'Brien's men, who sat 14th after round 19 and looked anything but premiership contenders. The Dragons have shown some promising signs in recent weeks but will still finish the season in second-last position, equaling their worst-ever finish as a joint venture in 2019. Having pushed the Storm and Warriors over the past fortnight, the Dragons go into Saturday's game confident of giving their home fans a ray of hope at the end of a tough season. The Red V have not won an away game all season, so playing at Netstrata Jubilee gives them some hope of an upset, but the Knights are on a magical roll and loom as a danger team in September. Team news. Dragons. Jack de Belin is due back from suspension and youngster Jaden Sullivan is a chance to return from a hamstring injury. Debutant Sione Finau suffered an ankle injury against the Warriors and is set to be replaced by Matt Feagai on the wing. Knights. Superstar Callan Ponga has suffered a high-grade AC shoulder injury and will miss the match, with Lachlan Miller his likely replacement at fullback. Halfback Jackson Hastings will look to return from an ankle injury, while Lachlan Fitzgibbon, shoulder, and Kurt Mann are also expected back after missing round 26. Stat attack. Knights backs Greg Marzhew, 162, and Dane Gagai, 137, are first and second for tackle breaks in the NRL this season. The best winning streak in Knights history is 11 on the trot between round 25, 2001 and round 6, 2002, which included the 2001 Grand Final victory. I'm going to tip the Knights. Titans vs Bulldogs. The Titans and Bulldogs are playing for pride when they square off at Cbus Super Stadium, with the winner at least able to finish their season on a positive note. Sitting 13th and 15th heading into round 27 and with a combined tally of just 15 wins, the Titans and Bulldogs will reflect on disappointing 2023 campaigns that never gained momentum. The Titans can claim a win over the Storm in round 3 and the Broncos in round 17, but since that victory at Suncorp Stadium they have lost 6 of their past 7 to fall out of finals contention. The Bulldogs also took down the Storm early in the season and were 3-2 after 5 rounds, but have won just 4 of 18 since then and will finish the year in 15th regardless of this weekend's result. Team news. Titans. Prop Moeaki Fotuaika missed the Storm game as he stayed at home in Queensland for the birth of his child. He is likely to be back on deck in what looms as the only change to Jim Lenihan's side for their final game of the season. Bulldogs. Coach Cameron Ciraldo is unlikely to make too many changes to the side that went down to the Sea Eagles. Forwards Raymond Faitala Mariner, hamstring, and Ryan Sutton, neck, look to be done for the season. Stat attack. Rookie Titans flyer Alafiana Khan Pereira has made 29 line breaks in 22 games, equal with Dom Young and Ronaldo Mulitalo, and behind only Alex Johnston, 30. The Titans have a 4-6 record at Cbus Super Stadium in 2023. I'm going to tip the Titans to win this game. Match. Sharks vs Raiders. A monster clash with huge finals ramifications will bring down the curtain on the NRL Telstra Premiership regular season. If the Knights lose to the Dragons on Saturday night, the Sharks and Raiders will be squaring off for 5th place in a home final in Week 1 of the playoffs. Should the Cowboys beat the Panthers and then the Knights beat the Dragons, the Raiders could drop out of the 8 altogether with a loss given their inferior points differential. The stage is set for a cracking contest in front of a full house at PointsBet Stadium as both sides look to rebound from losses and take some momentum into the finals. When they met in round 3 in Canberra, it was the Green Machine skipping out to a 24-10 lead early in the second half before holding off a late Sharks comeback to prevail 24-20. Team news. Sharks. Nico Hines is set to return after missing the Knights game with a quad injury. He will slot back in at halfback and Braden Trindle will return to his customary 5/8 role. No other change is likely. Raiders. Corey Horsburgh heads to the judiciary on Tuesday night to contest a Grade 1 shoulder charge. If he is successful in his bid to overturn the charge, he will be free to play against the Sharks, but a 4-game ban awaits if he is found guilty at the panel, meaning the Raiders would need to make the grand final for him to play again this season. Winger Albert Hopote, ribs, could come into contention after missing the loss to the Broncos. Stat attack. Sharks halfback Nico Hines has engaged the line 202 times this season, more than any other player in the NRL. The Sharks and Raiders have played 48 times in the NRL era, with the Raiders holding a slender 25-23 advantage. I'm going to tip the Sharks. Thank you for watching. Here is my tipping summary. Don't forget to like, subscribe and write your teams for this round.